Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Why are all of Christine Brown's kids moving away from her? What did she do? Sister Wives star Christine Woolley is finally living the life she always dreamed of. But was she dreaming without her kids? One by one, all of her children are packing up and moving away from her. The celeb recently opened up about her estranged relationship with her own kids, and viewers are now wondering what she is doing wrong. But that's not all. Christine further made some shocking revelations after another child of hers had decided to leave her and move close to Janelle. What did she reveal? What is this all about? Why are her kids leaving her? Is Christine fine? Keep on reading to learn more about this controversy because the tea is really hot this time. Where are Christine's other kids? All of Christine Brown's kids are slipping from her hands like sand. Michael T., a star on Sister Wives, recently relocated from Utah to North Carolina, once more far from Christine but close to Janelle. Then comes Gwendolyn Queiroz, who lives in Flagstaff, Arizona, with her wife Beatrice. She hardly appears to be in contact with Christine, and several sources have already confirmed that they are feuding. This makes it clear that only Isabel Brown, Aspen, and Truly are living close to Christine. The former also resides in Utah just to make sure that she is close to her mother. However, Aspen lives in northern Utah, close to Salt Lake City, and she may be occupied with Mitch. Then comes Truly, who is living with Christine and David under the same roof. Why do Christine's kids want to live near Janelle rather than her? Sister Wives star Christine Woolley is watching another kid moving away from her. Apparently, Paydon had decided to make the big move from Arizona to North Carolina. While the mother of 6 is supporting her son, she feels that the dynamics are actually rubbish. Christine wondered, what is it about North Carolina that has people moving there? It's insane. Christine got really emotional and wondered if she was a crappy mom. She talked about how her own kids weren't really choosing to live next to her. With this, it seems that some insecurities are also coming up in Christine's mind. She added, I feel like Janelle's a better mom because they're choosing to live next to her. But it appears that Paydon has his own reasons for making this move. While Paydon was already moving close to Janelle, Michael T's move might have added to the agony as well. She also decided to move to North Carolina with her entire family. Paydon and all of Christine's children, on the other hand, clearly have a long list of good reasons to live close to Janelle. Even after all this, there are instances when all of the Brown kids decide to reunite and have fun together. What do you think? Do let us know in the comments section. Sister Wives has never shied away from big emotions, complicated family dynamics, or the messy aftermath of plural marriage, but the newest concern swirling around Christine Brown has fans asking a shocking question that no one expected to ask about the woman once labeled the heart of the Brown family. Why are so many of Christine's kids suddenly moving away from her, and what exactly did she do to push them away? While Christine has been celebrated by viewers for reclaiming her happiness, finding love with David Woolley, and rebuilding her self-worth after decades of feeling underappreciated by Kody Brown, a growing cloud of confusion has settled over the Sister Wives fandom as more and more of her children quietly leave Utah, settle in different states, and create physical and emotional distance from their always cheerful, always supportive mom. The pattern has become impossible to ignore, and viewers are starting to ask whether something deeper, something far more complicated than Christine's public image, might be happening behind the scenes, something strong enough to shift the once unbreakable bond between Christine and the kids she fought so hard to protect throughout the show's entire run. From the outside, Christine has always appeared to be the glue, the mother who cooked for everyone, laughed the loudest, soothed the arguments, sacrificed her own needs, and raised her children with a sense of independence, confidence, and emotional awareness that many fans feel the other Brown kids didn't receive from their respective mothers. But when a mother's flock begins to scatter in every direction, and does so at almost the exact same time, fans cannot help but wonder whether Christine's new lifestyle, new marriage, new priorities, and new boundaries are playing a role in reshaping her relationships with her now grown children. Because while no one can deny that her kids love her, the distance, both literal and symbolic, is beginning to feel intentional. So what changed? What pushed Christine's children, once inseparable and openly adoring, to choose lives far from their mother after years of depending on her as the emotional anchor of their chaotic family? As many Sister Wives viewers point out, the answer may lie in the very thing Christine fought so long to get: her freedom. For years, Christine was the parent who held the Brown household together when Cody disappeared into Robin's world. She was the mom who showed up, rarely said no, and poured her entire identity into being the good plural wife and the nurturing mother. But when Christine finally stepped out of that role and began building a new life with David, she didn't just leave Cody. She left the version of herself that her kids had always known. That shift, for some children, felt incredibly empowering and inspirational. For others, it may have felt destabilizing, even confusing. When Christine remarried so quickly after divorcing Cody, some of her kids celebrated her happiness but quietly confessed to feeling rushed into adjusting to enormous life changes they never saw coming. After spending decades watching their mother sacrifice everything for the sake of the family, suddenly she was the one embracing a life that didn't revolve around them. Although there was no malicious intent, there was a significant shift in focus and energy. For a few of Christine's kids, particularly the older ones, it created a subtle emotional distance that only grew as Christine and David built their blended household and their new routines, traditions, inside jokes, and lifestyle choices. Some insiders have whispered that not all of Christine's kids meshed seamlessly with David's presence, not because he was unkind or controlling, but because they were simply not used to seeing their mother prioritize a romantic partnership so intensely. Others reportedly struggled with the idea that their mom's new life required them to fit in, rather than be the center of her world, the way they had been throughout the darker phases of the Brown family's chaos. Add to that the fact that many of Christine's children were already inching toward independence, careers, relationships, schooling, and adulthood, and suddenly the narrative becomes more complicated than fans initially assumed. Growing up in a polygamous family means constant noise, constant siblings, constant sharing, and constant emotional negotiation. So when Christine finally stepped into a quieter, more structured, more centered life with David, the contrast was enormous. For some of her kids, that stability felt comforting. For others, it felt like a signal that it was time to go build their own path. But there's also another layer, one that Sister Wives viewers have been whispering about online. Christine, for the first time in decades, has become protective of her peace. She is setting boundaries, enforcing rules, and expecting her kids to respect the household environment she and David are creating together. And boundaries, especially in a family system that previously had very few, can feel like rejection to adult children who aren't used to hearing no from the parent who was always the soft landing. In a number of interviews and live streams, Christine has acknowledged that she is no longer willing to tolerate emotionally draining work or to absorb everyone's problems as she once did. It's not that she loves her children less, it's that she finally loves herself enough to take a break. But that shift can sometimes be interpreted very differently depending on the child. Some embrace it, some struggle, some step back, and some decide to move away to figure out who they are without relying on their mother's constant emotional presence. Despite all of this, the question remains: did Christine do something wrong? The answer is complicated. In truth, Christine didn't do anything malicious or harmful. But she did do something life-altering. She changed. She stopped being the caretaker everyone leaned on. She stopped carrying the family's emotional burden. She stopped putting herself at risk. And sometimes the hardest thing a child can accept, especially in a family full of trauma, shifting loyalties, and unresolved tensions, is that a parent is allowed to evolve. Christine's new life is peaceful, joyful, structured, stable, and full of love. But that doesn't mean it's easy for everyone to adjust to. When a woman who spent 25 years putting everyone else first finally puts herself first, the ripple effect can reach even the tightest mother-child bonds. And so Christine's children aren't moving away because she failed them. They are leaving because they are maturing, establishing their own identities, overcoming the wounds they suffered as children, and constructing their own families, careers, and futures at the same time that Christine is undergoing her own rebirth. It is a strange emotional crossroads where everyone is changing at once.